Kane looked down at Ghislain with a disdainful smirk, announcing that the main character had finally arrived. Ghislain stared back, recognizing that familiar face. He was the heir to the Loges County, their allied territory. In his past life, Kane had been his only friend, yet also his greatest enemy. Kane approached triumphantly, his presence commanding the room. Ghislain turned to Ricardo, asking for an update on the situation. From behind, Ricardo explained that they had responded to a disturbance at the tavern, only to discover Kane and his escort knight there. Kane had recognized them and inquired about the rumors surrounding Ghislain, prompting Commander Scoven to share the details. But Kane had grabbed Scoven's mouth, accusing him of daring to lie to the heir of Loges, which escalated into Scoven being beaten nearly to death. Kane retorted sharply, insisting that Ricardo should tell the full truth. They claimed Ghislain, who had never trained a day in his life, had taken down an orc barehanded and handled traitorous escort knights single-handedly. That's why he'd given Scoven a wake-up call to snap him out of it. With a mocking grin, Kane added that none of this would have happened if Scoven hadn't lied to begin with. Ghislain knew this was classic Kane, always treating him like a subordinate, causing chaos during every visit to Perdium, and facing no consequences because of his status. Unlike Ghislain, who battled a constant inferiority complex, Kane was never looked down upon. He exuded confidence and boldness, traits befitting an heir. That's why Ghislain had faced even more criticism, he thought with a smirk. Kane was taken aback by Ghislain's calm demeanor. Despite the provocations, he didn't charge forward like before. Flashing back to a short while earlier at the Loges County, a cloaked man had met with Kane, instructing him to eliminate Ghislain. In return, a powerful figure would back the Loges family. Kane agreed it wasn't a difficult task, but worried about repercussions as an heir. The man reassured him there was no need for concern. It would be framed as a tragic duel accident. He would join Kane disguised as an escort knight, emphasizing that this was a rare chance even for him. Smirking, Kane suggested they head out immediately. Returning to the present moment, Kane pondered if someone wanted Ghislain gone because he'd clearly changed somehow. He sat casually on the tavern stairway and called out to Ghislain, questioning why he was just standing there and demanding he bring out what had been prepared for him. Ghislain asked what he meant by that. Kane explained he'd heard the festival was disrupted, so they should revive the atmosphere and have a grand time. They'd always been in sync on such matters. Or was he mistaken? Ghislain paused, staring into space, then realized Kane was referring to the alcohol and women he'd always arranged during visits. In the past, he'd complied to avoid a beating, but not anymore. It had wasted his precious funds. Suddenly, it clicked. Amid their financial woes, here was his money source all along, he thought, eyeing Kane. Kane shouted his name to snap him back, ordering him to fetch it since he'd remembered, and pointing out how he was waiting. Ghislain replied that of course he'd bring it right away, but first, didn't Kane have a debt to settle? The response stunned both Kane and his escort knight. Kane demanded to know what he was talking about. Ghislain clarified that all those preparations had come from his own pocket money, and now it was time to repay with interest. He'd settle for 1,000 gold. Kane shot back that it couldn't have cost even 100 gold, and Ghislain had done it as a token of thanks for their friendship, a friendship fee. Ghislain dismissed it as nonsense. He'd been Kane's doormat for far too long. Grinning down at him with disdain, he warned Kane to pay up before he got beaten senseless, as he desperately needed the money right now. Silence blanketed the tavern. No one could believe the words escaping Ghislain's lips. Rising from his seat, Kane accused Ghislain of growing bold because he'd been going easy on him. He claimed Ghislain must think he'd truly strengthened just from spreading false rumors about defeating a knight. Kane called him a mere parasite leeching off the land. Clenching his fist, he ranted that this was why everyone in the north labeled him a scoundrel. All he did was spout empty drivel. He swung his fist, ordering Ghislain to snap out of it. Ghislain dodged effortlessly, leaving the onlookers in shock. Kane swung again, but Ghislain evaded and countered with a left fist to Kane's rib cage, stunning him, followed by a right hook. This time, Kane blocked it. But then Kane dropped to his knees, screaming in agony. The escort knight rushed to his side, asking if he was okay. Ghislain told him to quit whining and stand up, noting that he'd blocked the punch anyway. The escort knight shouted for Ghislain to back off, demanding to know what he thought he was doing. The tavern crowd buzzed with excitement, whispering if Kane was really getting pummeled by Ghislain. Sensing their scheme, Ghislain decided to himself that he'd play along. Kane quietly asked the escort if he approved of his performance. The knight affirmed that he'd set the stage flawlessly, making it seem like Ghislain was at fault in everyone's eyes. Perfect grounds for a duel. Thinking he needed to make a strong impression, Kane reached into his jacket with a mischievous smile, deciding it was the ideal moment to sever ties with Perdium. He pulled out a blue glove and began to hurl it at Ghislain, declaring that after spreading lies to tarnish his noble dignity and attacking him for seeking the truth, he challenged. But mid-sentence, Ghislain flung his own brown glove straight at Kane's face, interrupting him and announcing that he challenged Kane Loges to a duel. As the glove dropped, Kane's face twisted in shock. Ghislain pressed on, stating that Kane had insulted him, the heir, before the people of Perdium, assaulted his knight, and besmirched noble honor. He asked if Kane planned to deny it. Kane's pale face broke into a sly smile as he remarked that he always knew Ghislain was foolish, but not this foolish, to dig his own grave like that. Drawing his sword and pointing it at Ghislain, he warned him not to regret it, even if it cost him his life. Ghislain smirked in response and instructed Ricardo to gather all the merchants protesting outside the castle, telling them he'd make them a fortune. With a wide grin, he cracked his knuckles, ready for what was coming.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this manhwa recap and want to catch the next chapter, smash that subscribe button, like, and hit the notification bell. Got a favorite manhwa you'd love to see recapped? Drop it in the comments below and I'll see you in the next one.